Good morning, fellow humans. So this morning I wanted to talk about an article that I read in the Himalayan Times, and from Sunday, January 12th, 2020. What are we today? Oh, that's from today. So the article is basically about the official launch of the Visit Nepal 2020, which is a tourism initiative to bring 2 million tourists to Nepal in 2020, and how a lack of the proper infrastructure is a major challenge to these initiatives. In 2018, around 1.1 million tourists visited Nepal. So the question remains, is Nepal prepared for double the numbers it had in 2018? Now they've got a new airport in Pokhara, which will certainly help things a little bit. Now Kathmandu airport was a little bit of a shambles when I last visited back in 2014, and they've actually, when I visited this time in 2020, they've really fixed up the electronic machines for the visas, so the whole process is a lot more faster and swifter, or should be. I actually had some problems with the ATM machine. Now that's another issue. There is one ATM machine inside the airport and around about 3 or 4 outside. So if your card does not work on the one inside, you have to work out with the airport staff to get outside the airport, take some money out, and then come back in. Now, one of the ways to solve this is to arrive in Nepal with the money for your visa in US dollars. But a lot of tourists are not doing that, not coming prepared. The article also addresses how taxi fraud with tourists is a major concern, and street hawkers. And this is definitely something that you can experience firsthand in Tamil, in Kathmandu. It really is a case of knowing all your prices beforehand. But if you're a first-time visitor to Nepal, it can be tricky. There's a lot of people who are trying to rip you off for the taxi fares. As part of this initiative, they're also aiming to increase the number of climbers on some of the major mountains, including Mount Everest. And 2020 was one of the worst years for Mount Everest. Actually, 11 people died on the mountain this year, and mainly because of the queues coming down. Now there is a video out, some GoPro footage from a climber of Everest coming down, and just showing the extent of those queues. And it's on this tiny little ridge. The path is meant for one person, and people are actually passing each other on the summit of Everest. It's like gridlock on Mount Everest. It's quite unbelievable actually to see the footage. Certainly that's something that the government will have to try to manage, as the floodgates sort of are opened for Nepal to take advantage of that trekking and climbing dollars. But the question remains, is it all going to come at a cost? Both local Sherpa guides who work on Everest are probably going to be put at increased risk with these extra numbers of mostly inexperienced climbers on Everest. It's really something to be weighed up, because obviously the Sherpas are making a lot more money than they would with farming, so they may be willing to take on that elevated risk, but it's tough if these benefits of tourism lead to people dying and things like that. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the matter, and I'll leave it at that.